Hey guys, sure, welcome along. That's Fine for People. Today we're talking about touch rugby. Now, touch rugby in the UAE, touch rugby globally, and I've got a Yoda, a master of touch rugby himself. I'll let him introduce himself because he just loves to talk and chat away. So leave it all to him. Go on, bro, you introduce yourself.
Thanks, Grant. So, my name is Tui. I come from New Zealand. I've been in the UAE for come on to 11 years, and I've really enjoyed myself.
Guys, good chat, bro. Thanks.
Blah, 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 blah.
Sorry, man. Guys, today's chat is all about touch. So if you guys have any comments, any questions, chuck them in the comment section below, and we'll be able to answer them for you. Bro, you're renowned globally for the game of touch rugby, and that's why we've got you here to talk about touch rugby. So let's start from real basic. When did you start playing touch?
Oh, I took up the game pretty late.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, real late, like 30.
Oh, you're 32 now, huh?
Yeah, 32 now.
So it's just a couple of years, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I took it up real late. I didn't know that I was any good at touch until I turned up to a friend's social game. And in that game, they said, come for a run. I jumped on the field, bare feet and jeans. And I ran around all of these guys, and that's how I got introduced to the game. I ran around them and scored some tries, and they said, "Oh, can you play next week?" And I said, "Yeah, okay."
Yes, it's like that guy that showed up to the golf course and scores a hole in one. Is like, I don't get why the game is so hard,
Oh yeah. So I don't know what happened there, but it just came naturally to me. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go with the game of touch itself. What is touch? So let's explain to people what touch is.
So touch is a modified game of rugby league. Rugby players play it also.
Yeah.
And over the years, it's evolved into a game played on half a rugby pitch. Mm-hmm. And you have 6 players on one side and 6 on the other side.
Yep.
It's a non-contact sport in the half sense of that word. Okay. There is a bit of contact, but it's not rugby tackling. It's not kicking. There's no scrums. There are no lineouts. So it's really friendly game.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are some of the basics then behind touch or the game itself? I mean, non-contact sport. Sure. I mean, obviously that's quite inviting for people. Obviously, we want to know a little bit more about that. So
yes. So on the social scene, we'll talk about the social scene. You just got to have a pair of shorts, a t-shirt, maybe some runners.
Okay.
So it's a really easy game to start playing.
Yeah.
If you're playing with people who know how to play the game, you just got to catch, pass a ball, score some touchdowns.
There you go. Sort of.
Nice and simple.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And the game of touch, I'm going to touch on this one because touch, no pun intended on that one, but with the game of touch, obviously there's a touch involved. And when you talked about the contact side of the sport, that's where the contact, I suppose, that is.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure.
And
yes.
When you're beginning, the touch is, well, it's quite gentle, isn't it?
It is very gentle. So we start off with 6-year-old kids, and we play a number of balls and skills games with the kids so that they get familiar with how to catch the ball, how to throw the ball in the air, and we show them a few tricks and skills, such as planting the ball, picking up the ball from the ground, and scanning. So looking left, looking right to see where defenders are coming at you.
Yeah, cool.
So you can identify the gaps and the holes on the field.
Easy.
Yeah.
So and then now, being Kiwi, obviously we're Kiwis and we're from New Zealand, and New Zealand does very well at the game of touch, along with it being from Australia as well. But let's go first of all about the UAE, because you've been one of the founders here in the UAE for touch rugby and it's grown. So what inspired you to first of all bring the game to the UAE and develop the game here in the UAE?
Yes. So mainly it's the love of the game.
Yeah.
And once you have the love of an activity or a hobby that you're good at, you tend to want to share it with other people.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's where I'm at. I have a lot of knowledge that I've gained over the years, especially the knowledge I gained from very good touch players in New Zealand. So in the touch scene in New Zealand, there are a number of players in the Galaxy Touch Club that I really admired, and they asked me to play for them.
Okay, cool.
And a lot of knowledge was transferred to me, and I was really fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time to be coached by Peter Walters and to play in the company of very, very good players. And that gave me a good basis, a good foundation
to then develop the game. Cool.
to do it again. And now I'm at a point where I've got this knowledge and I want to give it to other people as well.
Yeah, brilliant. So how long's the game been here in the UAE? So has it been last couple of years, 5, 10? I'm not too sure.
Sure. So my understanding is that prior to myself coming in 2008, there was a team that represented the UAE in Europe in a competition over there in 2006. And that team went on to play touch, and they were probably the founding members of touch in Dubai, in the country, in fact. When I came in 2008, there was some touch being played, semi-organised. We looked at and identified that there were some gaps, and we found out that, look, if we start touch off in schools with teenagers, younger kids, that it would form that foundation. Those kids would grow up and come through in the latter years, and the game of touch would be at a point where we have some momentum. Yeah. Numbers, momentum equals a lot more interest in the game.
Yeah, totally.
And that's where we're at now. So if you were to take a look at the numbers in 2008 when I first came, it would have been about 40 or 50 players playing
total
organised touch in the country. If you fast forward to today, there are around about 8,500 players that we have.
Wicked. Oh, wow.
Organised and play organised touch in the country.
Through 10 years, that's a nice steep curve.
It's a very steep curve.
Yeah,
yes,
brilliant.
Yes.
Well done. So where is it then today? What's the foundations? What can people expect to be involved with when they play touch here in the UAE?
Yes. So we're looking at making sure it's safe to play for them. So we want good fields to play on, safe fields. We want them nice and flat, and we want to make sure that they come away from that experience without any injuries. Yeah. The second thing we want is coaches. We need coaches to learn the game and to be enthusiastic with the children and also with the adults, because it's now in the adult scene, especially with the last 2 World Cups that which we're able to send teams along to. And the other challenge, of course, is making sure that there are people here who can help manage the game. So we need parents, volunteers to come on board and say, hey, look, I want to take part in the game in some way. I can't play, but I want to help manage. I want to help with the finances. I want to help with sponsorships. I want to help with marketing.
Yeah, totally, 100%. It's great growth for the game here in the region. There's a couple of competitions that happen throughout the week. There's a lot of social touch that goes on. I know a lot of people play socially throughout it, and it's usually Kiwis, Australians, South Africans, English. They'll get involved with it as well.
Sure.
When it talks about the development of the game, and people have obviously improved their skill sets. They've got better and better. And as you mentioned before, they've been able to send a couple of teams to the World Cup, which was recently, back in, can't remember now, maybe March. Sure. Whenever it was. What does that mean for the game here in the UAE to be able to send teams away to the World Cup?
So it's about recognition. Yeah. And it's about the people in the country looking at the sport and not seeing it as a minority sport, seeing it as a sport that can grow and develop into something a bit bigger than it is now. Yeah. So the potential that it has now to grow into something very, very big is huge. Yeah. There's huge potential for it, especially in this country. Yeah.
I mean, we need to represent, whether it be on a regional level or a national level or greater level. I mean, that's a goal we want to aim for, right? And they want to improve their skill sets.
So we've put pathways in place. Yeah. So if you are a 6-year-old, you can play touch in your school. If you're still interested in touch, you can follow through the age groups right up until the under 18s. And by the time you leave school and go for the university overseas, you've got 12 years of touch knowledge behind you. Really. Along the way, also, we pick up a lot of adults who didn't get touch when they were younger, but have other skills. So they might have netball skills, they might have rugby skills or rugby league skills. And those skills are very useful in touch. So if they can catch and pass, then it's very easy for them to transition over to touch.
That's great. Of course, the game. Now, the organisation that's this was Middle East Touch, right? That's the guys started up with John. Obviously, that's something started up with the pathway to being created to develop and to represent in the sport. I mean, when you went to when the team first went, the one team went to the Euros, right? Back in 2006 or 2008. Sorry, you're saying.
Yeah, so there was a team that I was not involved in that went to Euros in 2006.
Totally.
That's correct. Yes.
And then the first time that we've gone to the World Cup as a representative region?
Yeah, so that was 4 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
That was 4 years, in 2015.
Okay.
So I was part of that group that went over there. We sent one team over in the open mixed grade. John Larkins was the person who organised the whole team and made sure that we got a competitive team together. Yeah. And we went over ranked in the bottom of the world because it was our first World Cup. Yeah. And I think we walked away from there in, what was it, around about 7th or 8th position.
Okay, good.
So
Nice.
that was quite an achievement for us.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. Yeah. And then it developed on again, and the growth of games, the growth has happened here in the UAE, and it's also developed again. Obviously, I was a part of that, by the way. Part of that we were able to send more teams away to the World Cup this time.
Absolutely. So just recently, a couple of months ago, we were able to send 3 teams over to the World Cup. Yeah. So in addition to the open mixed team, we were able to send a 30 mixed team and the over 40 men's team. And all of the 3 teams performed really, really well on the world stage. We have been encouraged by the support back home here in the UAE, and of course many of the games were televised live over.
Totally, technology took over, YouTube and Facebook and all that. Yeah,
absolutely. Brilliant. And so it generated a huge amount of interest back home here.
Totally. So, and you were saying we would always talk about there's other opportunities for people to participate and represent in a sport as well. World Cup has been great for a lot of people. It's driving a lot of interest. There's also the European competition.
Correct. Yes. So in the European environment, they have a number of competitions that we are looking at. So in the school grades, the under 15s and under 18 grades, there is the JTC, the Junior Touch Championship, and that's held in Europe, and it rotates through nominated countries every year. Yeah. And that's a very, very good tournament for our teams to be invited to. So it's a special tournament, invitation only. And we first sent teams over there 4 years ago. We sent one team over there. And fast forward to today, as of this week, we're going to the European Championships again in Europe. And we'll be taking 3 teams along.
Brilliant. Which ones are those ones?
So in the under 15 grade, there is the mixed team. And the girls will be the open girls. And the 18s will be the 18 mixed team.
That's basically quite cool. They all, as you said, like 2008, started getting into more schools, started developing the game more and more. And 10 years later, you've got representative teams like this, and 18s and the 15s represented in the European Championships. And to what I know of it, there's a lot of the top teams in the world. I mean, bar Australia, New Zealand, there's still very top teams like Scotland, England, Wales are there as well.
There are, So in terms of world rankings, are sort of similar to the rugby world rankings in terms of how strong the teams are. So Australia is number 1. And has been number 1 every year since I've joined up playing the game.
Same in rugby league,
2 years ago.
2 years ago, that's right, 33 now.
The game has developed and grown, and each region has its own particular style. So, for instance, in Australia, New Zealand, there is a particular style, a very flamboyant style, if you like. So there's a lot of flair, there are lots of moves, there are lots of passes. If you look at, say, the European scene, so England, Wales, Scotland, they develop a totally different style of touch. And so it's good to see different styles being developed. If you look over in Japan, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, they have another style of touch
which
as
is
well.
Fast,
which
faster,
is very fast. And they're a bit more nimble than other touch players are around the world because of their size and their speed and their agility. So they develop their own style of touch as well.
Yeah, cool, awesome. There's one. And then, okay, so these great representative things going out there, the World Cup, Europeans, for juniors and for adults, right?
Now, so the adult scene in the European champs, that happens every 2 years.
Okay.
And so what happens there is teams will be selected we send out a notification of interest to all of the players in UAE, and we say, here are the following grades.
Yep.
If you're interested, turn up to the trials.
Yeah, cool.
And we have the trials in Abu Dhabi.
Okay, yeah.
Abu Dhabi is a centre of touch in the UAE, where John Larkins has firmly established touch as a major sport in the city, and we are happily sponsored by Abu Dhabi Sports Council.
Nice.
We get a lot of support from that group, that organisation.
Cool. As like, how do people get involved? I mean,
Sure.
now there's more interest. There is more competitions. So how do you, like, literally someone watching going like, or listening? What?
You can contact me. You can look on Facebook. You can do a Google search, and you'll find clubs that offer touch.
Yeah.
There may be some friends that you can talk to about teams that you can join up with.
Yeah.
There are certainly a few competitions around the UAE that you can join, either at the social level or on the competitive level.
Yep, totally.
The competitive nature of the game is also growing. It's gone. If I were to say, it's like a 3-phase progress. Phase 1 being social touch.
Just get together, throw the ball around.
Get together. Yeah. Not much coaching going on. Yeah. Don't worry too much about the rules. To level 2, which is a bit semi-organised, right up to level 3, which is World Cup status. We've definitely got avenues for everybody to select where they should fit in. Am I beginning? I'll look for somewhere where I can learn the game without being told off by somebody who gets a bit excited by me if I drop the ball, for instance, And so I've got to find my comfort level. Is it level 1 or 2 or 3? And once I find that, then I can enjoy the game.
Yeah, 100%. So what's the development then? What's the next stage? What's the next big thing for touch here in the UAE? I mean, as it grows, it develops over the next 2 years, 5 years.
Yes.
Where do you see the future of touch being here in this region? What do you see it as?
Sure. So we want to see UAE develop its own style, and we want to see that in the general population. We also want to see the locals take up the game. I've coached a lot of the local kids, Emirati kids in the country, and they have a really cool style. I like their style, and so we're trying to find ways to nurture that and to grow it and for them to enjoy it and to own it.
Yeah, cool.
And also we want to provide avenues for their coaches and schools to take it up as well.
Yeah, totally. Now, with touch, I mean, it's such a nice game when you look at it from an outsider looking in. I mean, a lot of people see rugby or they hear the word rugby and they think, oh, ouch. Getting beaten up, getting broken bones, sore clashes, collisions and all that kind of thing. Obviously with touch rugby, you see, like, there's that style, that integration of the rugby game. It was born out of rugby league. How have you seen it develop in other countries? So we talk about it was born and created from Australia. New Zealand and Australia are very good at the sport, the top of the game. How have you seen it develop there in that time? Well, since it began, I'm not too sure when it began. But
so the best way to describe it, I guess, is through the ambassador system. So players from Australia will find work and leave Australia and go to Singapore. They'll go to Japan. They'll go to China. They go to the USA. And they become ambassadors for the sport. So they'll get their friends together, they'll go to a local park and they'll start playing. And that's how it started off in the USA, for instance. It started many, many years ago. A group of Kiwis went over there, joined up with some Australians, started touch, and it just took off. And so now the USA touch teams are in most of the grades that are offered at the World Cup. And they have a pathway plan for them as well. And they have funding, they have support from the government, and they have a large amount of sponsorship available for them because the country is just so big.
Yeah, totally. There's there's other competitions, like there's Europeans, there's World Cup, there's what I've heard, there's other countries holding their own competitions in their nations to help grow the game or to create awareness within their countries or just globally as well. Yes. And what are you seeing on the scene?
So the Tier 1 competitions are the World Cup and the high level games. Tier 2 are tournaments held with an international flavour. So, for instance, we've had a couple of international tournaments here in UAE where teams have come from overseas.
Yeah.
We've had teams from England come over, and then the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait.
Yeah.
So there is an appetite for the game in the region and in other parts, and so it's just a matter of how you pitch it, what level you pitch it at, and the main thing for that is you need to get community support. If you don't get community to support these events, then it's very hard to make them happen, and so that's where we struggle. But as we are able to involve more people from the community in it, we're able to get more buy-in, we're able to get more interest, and we're able to get more volunteers for the game.
Yeah, totally. And this is all done through the organisation? Is it mostly
yes.
there, or?
Yes, absolutely. So we formed a group called Middle East Touch. Middle East Touch is responsible for all touch across the MENA region. Yeah. So that's that includes Egypt and a lot of the countries in that.
Is it Middle East, North Africa type?
It is. So MENA, Middle East and North Africa. Yeah, absolutely.
And then how do you get a hold of yourself and Middle East Touch?
And John. So
John.
So we have a Facebook page. And all our contact details are there. Yep. And we also have a website, so you can see what is happening in the region, and you can see what's coming along.
Nice. And then for anyone who wants to see the game itself, where can they find that online? Any recommended YouTube channels or anything as far as coaching?
Yes, if you type in, say, if you want to see high-level games, you can type in New Zealand versus Australia, England versus Wales, touch rugby, or touch. Yep. And they're all available on YouTube. So if you're interested in the game, you can do that, and you can see the non-contact version of the game rather than the tackle version. And so if you are thinking about the game, it's a good idea to have a look at those so that you get an idea of how quick the game can be played, and also the skills you need.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. And there's any coaching clinics out there at the moment?
There are. So in Dubai, a coaching opportunity for adult players has recently been formed, and I believe you run it, Grant. Is that right?
I think so, maybe.
So that's on a Monday night. Yeah. And that's suitable for all social beginning players. Yeah. And that's available for anybody to turn up to. Rock up. Make contact with myself or you through this number here.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description below. If you're on the podcast, we'll give you descriptions there as well.
But I just want to add also there are some touch academies for youth players. Yep. So if you have any children who don't want to play rugby, don't want to play any other sport, but have a small interest in catching and passing without getting tackled, without getting hurt, then we have the academy, which is on a Tuesday nights, and also that can be accessed through the website as well.
Middle East Touch.
Yes, Middle East Touch website.
So it is. And what would be any final words as far as the game of touch rugby? Do you have any final words? Listeners,
yes, absolutely. If you want to find a fast, exciting, quick, energetic game, turn up to touch and play your heart out.
Boom. Easy as that, guys. More descriptions, more information will be in the description below. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. Subscribe to our channel. We've got more things coming out, more information about different sports, different fitness, different health, people in the industry, and we'd love you to tune in. Until next time, peace out. See you later.